Hello, everyone. How you doing? Welcome to Minnesota Varsity League's Thursday night stream. My name is Thunder McFadden, and I am joined tonight by my friend Quam the Bomb. Quam, we have got three different Super Smash Bros. Games tonight. How excited are you for the action this evening?
I'm very, very excited, Thunder. Got some great matchups tonight once again. And, kind of like we talked about last week, we're into the middle of the season at this point. So players are just going to keep getting better and better as they go into the season and keep finding their rhythm and keep showing us some amazing action on stream. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, couldn't be more excited. Absolutely awesome stuff. Our first matchup is going to feature Dead Maniac taking on Knight of the Dark. Now, Dead Maniac being kind of a storied player in MNVL from even last season and last year. And now Knight of the Dark is a player who is kind of jumping onto the scene and making some things happen, making some waves as a newer face. So excited to see that one. The second matchup, Socium, who we have not seen on stream before, taking on La Fever, who we have seen on stream before. That will be an exciting matchup. And then third up, Schnool is going to be taking on Kanji, and neither of these players have been on our stream before. So very excited for that. And we know because of the way that SSBU works at MNVL, players are playing against other players that share their same records. So matchup number one, both of the players are sitting at 4-1. Matchup number two, both of the players sitting at 2-3. And matchup number three, both of these players are sitting at 1-4. So you mentioned, Quam, at this point in the season, it's kind of sort of do or die time, right? As far as making your way towards playoffs. But what do you think that these players are kind of going through as far as their mindset in that, considering the records and considering where we're at here in week 6 of the season?
I think just doing an evaluation of where they're at mentally, thinking, how much have I improved this season? Thinking, what else can I do to become a better player this season? Because, ultimately, high school esports is about improvement and seeing what you can do better and playing with a bunch of people around your skill level to improve yourself. So, regardless of whether or not you're going for the gold this season, a lot of these players may just be evaluating what they want to do best as the season progresses. I do, however, think that our first matchup here, Night of the Dark versus Dead Maniac, is going to feature some very high intensity gameplay, as both of these players are definitely playoff contenders, sitting at 4-1. Night of the Dark does have a record of 4-1. His record shows that he has one loss. However, in our interview with him last week, he did say that his one loss was only because he missed the match. He had to forfeit. So, technically undefeated. He's definitely going to come in with some confidence tonight.
Most certainly, and I like the way you put that, right? So, Night of the Dark coming in, that one loss was obviously an unfortunate circumstance. So, every time Night of the Dark has been on the stages, has performed extremely well. However, we have seen the exact same thing out of Dead Maniac, and we know Dead Maniac from last season. We know that Dead Maniac is a technically, I don't want to say a technical genius, but I almost want to say that because the way that you see Dead Maniac using the projectiles, using the grenades, all of that with the Me Gunner is like really, really, really scary good, right? So I think if you're Knight of the Dark, you're coming into this matchup for certain, for certain with some confidence. But at the same time, I mean, Dead Maniac is a scary player to play against, right?
Yeah, definitely. This matchup's definitely going to feel like one of those unstoppable force versus immovable wall circumstances where you got a player like Knight of the Dark who showed absolute dominance last week with his aggression and almost
Mhm.
flawless play. And then you have Dead Maniac who is so good at using those projectiles and walling players out and punishing them for when they try to come in. So we're going to see a lot of high intensity. It's going to be just really, really exciting all around.
Yeah, I think you're totally right there. I think these two players, right, the unstoppable force versus the immovable object, right? Perfect way to put it. Because, you know, again, it seems like Knight of the Dark with that aggression is the unstoppable force, right? But Dead Maniac has this way of controlling the stage. It does. With the projectiles, has a way of making the stage much smaller than it actually is. So here we have, ooh, and this is a switch now for Dead Maniac. The Byleth taking on the Pyramithra. Tell me your thoughts on this matchup, Quam.
I think Pyramithra definitely has an advantage in this matchup. Pyramithra being one of the best characters in the game, as we mentioned last week. Byleth, also a fairly good character, but going to struggle when it comes to speed and mobility. You know, I'm not exactly surprised that Dead Maniac is playing a new character, as he loves to switch it up on stream, but going to have to find a way to make this Byleth work, especially against a character as powerful as Mithra.
Ooh, yeah, you said it, dropping a couple of punishing moves there. But yeah, like you said, Dead Maniac gonna have to come in and play another character. But if there's a player that we have faith in doing that, it's for sure Dead Maniac. So skilled on the stages. So good as these two fight for control of the stage. In and out of shield is Knight of the Dark. This Mithra back and forth. In and out of shields. Dead Maniac as well. Oof. These two going at it here on the stage, Quam. What do you think? Oh, there's a big stock though. Dead Maniac losing one and now on kind of on his heels.
Yeah, Knight of the Dark, unfortunately, not unfortunately actually, taking that first stock from Dead Maniac, and Mithra, a character so capable of racking up these early percent combos. So Dead Maniac gonna have to find this kill in order to try to keep this game a little more even. But as we know, Dead Maniac is very talented at holding down the stage. Gets a nice back air in there, sending Knight of the Dark off stage, not killing, but, you know, Knight of the Dark, or Dead Maniac rather, still holding down the stage very well.
Yeah, most certainly, and not taking a ton of damage here as Dead Maniac is kind of finding ways to chip away at Knight of the Dark. Now, Knight of the Dark has not spent much time at all, if any time at all, playing Pyra. For those people who are maybe a little new to SSBU, Quam, tell me the differences between Pyramithra, right, and why you would play one versus the other, why you might switch.
So just to refresh our audience, Pyramithra are actually one character wrapped in two. Pyra, who we just saw Knight of the Dark switch to, is a slower character that hits a lot harder, and Mithra is a character that's a lot faster, but has a lot of moves that she can combo out of. And Dead Maniac taking advantage of Mithra's lightweight to seal out a kill there. Very good stuff from Dead Maniac, but gonna have to play a little faster here in order to keep up with Knight of the Dark, who is already at a one-stock lead in this game one.
Yeah, most certainly. Knight of the Dark playing this Mithra so well. The speed and the range is effective against the Byleth, and Dead Maniac definitely a step behind and a stock behind, trying desperately to fight for control of the middle of this stage. Oh man, we'll land a couple, but Knight of the Dark coming back in so effectively. The recovery is so good out of this young player. Amazing stuff.
Knight of the Dark had a very good recovery back to stage in which he directionally air dodged away from a move Dead Maniac was trying to throw out, got back to stage, and gets a big punish from Dead Maniac's ledge option, taking a 2-stock victory in the game one. That's not going to feel good for Dead Maniac, especially after trying a new character.
Wow. Yeah, and it does make you wonder. It does make you wonder why the character switch out of Dead Maniac, right? I mean, Byleth, I don't think we've ever seen Dead Maniac play that character. So when we're so used to the me gunner, the me brawler out of Dead Maniac, it was interesting to see the switch up and just how effective Knight of the Dark was with that Pyramithra. Again, only played Pyra for a very small period of time. Is that typical for a player who would main that character?
That's pretty typical. Some players might prefer a slower character that hits harder, but generally when playing Pyra and Mithra, it's better to stick with Mithra for most of the game, and when you're feeling confident about a read or a big hit, or trying to juggle the opponent, switching to Pyra to get that one big hit to seal out the stock is generally the way to go.
Okay, so I mean, seeing some very classic then Pyramithra play out of Knight of the Dark, and to take a win that convincingly, right? Ahead by two, I mean, not two full stocks, but definitely 2 stocks still there. I saw some solid stuff, obviously, out of Dead Maniac, and Dead Maniac, we know, can adapt very well. So I don't see Dead Maniac going away here or just falling away here for the next 2 stages. But I think that this is also a place that our Maniac isn't used to, sitting in. If you're in this position, Quam, what is your mindset? Are you switching maybe to a me gunner if you're Dead Maniac. I mean, what are your thoughts? And especially when you know that the Pyra/Mythra is so effective out of Night of the Dark.
Yeah, I'm probably switching off of the Byleth. I don't really think that's a great matchup into the Pyro and Mythra. I think me Gunner, a character who can hang back, camp a little more, would be more effective. But, I respect Dead Maniac for going out there, trying a new character, but I do expect him to switch to a character we've seen more commonly on stream, or maybe not, knowing Dead Maniac, he plays a lot of characters. But if I had to take a guess, I think we'd be seeing that me Gunner. What do you think?
You know, I think so too. I think that the Me Gunner is probable, but I don't, I'm not a betting man in general, but I don't know that I would put money on that either. You know what I mean? Like that to me, with the way that Dead Maniac plays, I don't know, right? I think that Dead Maniac plays each matchup based on the other player, right? Like, because we've seen it in matchups where it's like, oh, me Gunner, and then me Brawler just to finish it off because he knows. And here we go. Okay, me Brawler. All right. So we're not seeing the Gunner. We're not going to see that same control of the stage with the projectiles. How does Dead Maniac control the stage with the Brawler against our Pyra/Mythra here?
I think just going in, being a little quicker about the moves he uses, me Brawler has a few more faster up-close options than Byleth does. So I think Dead Maniac just wants to go in and get a little more pressure down, which is going to be hard against a player like Night of the Dark, who has already racked up 54% on him. But I respect the character switch, and it really looks like he has a mindset refresh too, going in with these big up-Bs and dealing a fair amount of damage too.
Yeah, certainly. Trying to land an up B there, not quite. But again, you said it. Great. The character switch working out so far for Dead Maniac. Pretty much dead even in this matchup. But boy, oh, and the switch to Pyra now. This is huge stuff for Night of the Dark. It is great, great what we are seeing here. But again, Dead Maniac finding ways to connect, but goes off the stage finally for that first stock. And Night of the Dark sitting near 100% here. Great action out of this Pyra/Mythra. What do you think the strategy is moving forward, Quam, if you are the Me Brawler?
I think you just got to be you got to go for big moves like that. The up B off stage to seal off the stock. Really nice, risky option from Dead Maniac there. Could have been punished, but he gets the risky option and it works. And now this game is even thanks to that option. So I think some more options like that, being aggressive, but, being smart about it like he's doing, is going to be a good way to keep this game even.
Most definitely, and you can see the confidence just oozing now out of Dead Maniac, who has taken control of the stage, has taken just a slight lead here at a couple of points, is finding ways to get away from this damage coming from the Pyra/Mythra. Now the Pyra switch. Oh, Dead Maniac gonna connect, recover, not quite. Oh, and Dead Maniac will go ahead and lose another stock. Some of these options off of the stage, Quam, look so risky. Why do they continue to take them?
I think it's just because of the kinds of players that these players are. Like, they just go off stage, they use their big hits when they can. They're not that scared about getting punished off stage because they're just so driven on getting that one big hit off stage that could finish the game. And Dead Maniac almost going for one of those right now, oozing confidence with this character switch. I really like that it's working out for him here.
Yeah. Dead Maniac doesn't look like a completely different player, but looks like he's on a different mission here on stage number 2. Oh, connecting a few, and will Dead Maniac get this last stock? Who will take it? Everyone at 80%. Everyone in the middle of this stage. A huge up B connecting from Dead Maniac. Night of the Dark off the stage will recover, but will get blasted one more time. Coming and connecting, they're fighting off the stage. This is crazy, Quam. What is going on?
Night of the Dark luckily got out of a really bad position there in which he could have been punished by one of those up Bs from Dead Maniac, but luckily finds his way back to center stage. He's going to be the one on the aggressive a little more here. Both these players in the middle of the stage just scrapping to try to find the final kill. Both one big hit away from losing the stock here.
Oh, wow. The up B connects, but is not enough to go. What on the earth is going on between these two? This is playoff level SSBU that we are seeing today, folks. Wow. Dead Maniac almost completely out of shield. Look at that thing. It looks like a tiny marble. Unreal. And now in that 120 percentage. Wait, Wait, it is Dead Maniac who takes it. Unreal. Look at that.
That was an unbelievably stressful end to that game. Oh my goodness. And the way that it ended, too. Holy.
I'm losing it over here. That was, I mean, and you heard me say it right there. That was playoff level Super Smash. That, and we said it before, big respect and big ups to Dead Maniac for playing the Byleth and getting kind of a little bit out of the comfort zone in game number 1, right? But there, game number 2, like, what? What? Both of these players playing outright for that win until the bitter end. I think they both were above 130% with one stock left, fighting, duking it out, and we are sitting at 1-1. We knew that this matchup was going to be great, and it is delivering, Quam.
Yeah, absolutely. You could see how much both of those players wanted that kill at the end. And, I almost think they pushed that to maybe a little too far of an extent, because we saw them going for some risky options, like Dead Maniac using a lot of up B out of shield, Night of the Dark doing a lot of forward smash with Pyra, which he actually got punished for with Me Brawler's counter. So unfortunate end to the game for Night of the Dark. But going into this game 3, I think I'd like to see both players take a little bit of a mental refresh, think about the best ways to seal out the stocks here. Because in this early game, both players are doing such a good job of getting these early percent combos and getting the other player off stage. But when it comes to finding kills, they're getting punished for going for risky options. So whichever player starts to figure out what their opponent is doing to try to get these kills and sit back, wait, and then punish is going to be the one who takes this set ultimately.
I completely agree. And I think that, if you watch pro level Super Smash as well, a lot more action off the stage, right? These players, when the skill level goes up and up and up, you see less and less fighting directly on the stage and directly on the platforms. It's just it's a pretty much a direct correlation. And I think we're seeing it right now. That risky stuff to us, not so risky necessarily to a player like Night of the Dark or like Dead Maniac. For them, it's just a matter of the frames, right? This is just a kind of another walk in the park for them, is like, okay, no, I can handle being off the stage for X amount of time because I'm used to it. I'm good enough that I can play over there, and I can get, there were a couple of those stocks on stage 1 and stage 2, right, that came at between 80 and 100%. There were a couple of them there, good, solid finishing or punishing moves off of the stage that put you ahead, right? So that, I think, is going to be a difference maker as we move forward in the matchup between these two.
Yeah, for sure. And you said it. The better of a player you get to be, the more time you're able to spend off stage. And both these players have the confidence and the experience to do some of those off stage stuff. Mythra and Pyra and Me Brawler do not have amazing recoveries, but it's good enough to where they can go out and throw out a move like maybe a forward air to try to push their opponent further back and then recover safely. So love to see that both of these players have the confidence to do that. We're going to run it back to FD for a third time. I think this is a pretty good neutral stage for both of these players, and both players just going in instantly. Wow.
Yeah, getting aggressive, and you mentioned it. Some of the recovery options that you wouldn't necessarily think of as recovery options, these two using them, right? Maybe an up B or whatever it could be to get back to the stage. Awesome out of these two players. Duking it out here. Night of the Dark coming across with that sword. Oof, so dangerous, that Mythra. But the Me Brawler punching away. I am so surprised that we did not see a Me Gunner. How do you think that those projectiles would make a difference for Dead Maniac here, Quam?
I think they do a little better of a job keeping that Mythra at bay. But I really don't think it would be too much of an issue just because of how mobile and how strong Mythra is in the air and on the ground. Me Gunner has some good projectiles, but they're a little slower. So they wouldn't be as effective at zoning out a character like Mythra. So I really like that Dead Maniac is sticking with this Me Brawler and getting in and finding damage in his own right. Big uppie from him there. Gets a strong down air to seal out the stock at the left side of the stage. Dead Maniac sitting up a stock, but Night of the Dark not relenting, getting a giant up smash. to kill him off the center of the stage. This game is even, and you can see how badly both of these players want to take this set.
Yeah, holy cow. I mean, this thing has gotten so close here over the past 5 or so minutes. Unreal. Way to go, these two players duking it out on the stage and off, but oh, Dead Maniac, did he go for a punish and miss it? What happened there?
He went for an up B and then drifted too far to the right and actually SD'd at 11%, which is really, really unfortunate. I'm not sure if, he was trying to go for something flashy or he just accidentally drifted off stage, but either way, Night of the Dark is absolutely going to take advantage of this. Dead Maniac not in the uppermost position right here.
No, certainly. Dead Maniac coming from behind, but able to get in on this Pyra, at least some damage. Oh, but Night of the Dark is just playing with Dead Maniac up there in the air off to the right. Oh, and that will do it. Night of the Dark gonna take advantage of that SD out of Dead Maniac and will go up 2-1.
Yeah, that's really, really important for Night of the Dark to take that game because, now he only needs one left to win the set. And if you're Dead Maniac right now, you're probably worrying a little bit because being down 1-2 can be pretty hard to come back from, especially mentally after SDing after something like that. That's really, really unfortunate to see.
Yeah, perfect point there about that unfortunate self-destruct for Dead Maniac right there. And as a seasoned Super Smash player, I definitely have a better grasp on it now with the play that I've been doing. It is sometimes a matter of just the angle of the joystick, right? Sometimes there is just that much margin for error that can take you off the stage in a circumstance like that. At the end of the day, it is all about your mental strength, your mental fortitude. How do you pick yourself back up after after a round like that, right? Where now you said it, if you're 1-1 in Super Smash and it's a best of 5, now it's 2-1 the way of Night of the Dark and it's match point, right? So your mentals shift at least a little bit. What are your thoughts as we move into this game number 4 here between these two players, Quam?
Dead Maniac's definitely got a mountain to climb in these next 2 games if he wants it. I think he actually did a really good job of being a little more patient and punishing some of the unsafe options, like those high up Bs out of Night of the Dark, until he SD'd, in which case it kind of seemed like he lost his footing. But I really hope he recognizes that he was doing a good job of being more patient before that SD. And if he understands what he did correctly, he's going to have an easier time moving into these next 2 games and, maybe taking them both.
Yeah, certainly. I think that that's a point that's very well made. What worries me a little bit though is when you're playing at this level, when you're at this skill level, you don't want to take too much of a deep breath, right? Because if you take too much of a deep breath, you kind of then you're sort of maybe taking a little sigh of relief, right? Then you're sort of relaxing a little too much. And Night of the Dark is a player who's going to punish you if you relax at all. We've seen that, right? Very, very effective use of the Mithra so that we're not seeing a ton of Pyra, only Pyra at the really, really opportune moments from Night of the Dark. So that's going to be exciting to watch here. Will Night of the Dark take this stage number 4 and finish it for the day? Or will we see Dead Maniac kind of turn things around and we go to a stage number 5? I mean, anything could happen. I think really anything could happen in this matchup. That SD that we keep mentioning out of Dead Maniac, I think could have just as easily happened out of Night of the Dark. But do you think that Dead Maniac is taking more risky options? That's how I want to word it. Do you see Dead Maniac taking more risky options than Night of the Dark throughout this matchup we've seen today?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We see that his usage of up B has been pretty risky, especially when Night of the Dark is at the edge. He likes to go for those up Bs in hopes to catch Night of the Dark and get a bit of a spike on him to make it harder for him to recover. And we actually see Dead Maniac switching to Me Gunner, so not going to be able to use those same kind of moves that Me Brawler had, and instead going to be sitting on the stage and using those projectiles like we've seen oh so many times.
Yep. Oh, man, it is going to be a matter of Knight of the Dark finding the speed to get around these projectiles from Dead Maniac, who is an absolute maniac with Me Gunner. But boy, Knight of the Dark has already laid down 44% here on this Me Gunner. Great stuff out of Knight of the Dark. The projectiles come out, the bombs come out. Dead Maniac in and out of shield will get caught up by Knight of the Dark. That Mithra now gaining control of this stage and into the Pyra we see, Quam.
Pyra definitely going to be good at sitting in center stage and holding it down. If Dead Maniac wants to approach unsafely, Pyra's going to be the character to punish something like that. So Knight of the Dark sacrificing a little bit of quick movement just for that ability to stay on stage. Unfortunately off stage right now, and we know Dead Maniac is going to do his absolute best to keep him off stage here.
Dead Maniac, the aim. Oh, wow! And boom, we'll take that stock. That is huge. Out of this Me Gunner, Dead Maniac does such a good job of ledge guarding, using those projectiles to keep you off the stage. It is absolutely brutal to deal with. And now Knight of the Dark taking a breather, saying, no. I'm not just going to let you throw things at me. I'm not going to let it happen. Dead Maniac saying, no, but I want to. That's how things work when I play Me Gunner. Look at that, connecting with the grenades, connecting with these projectiles. Unreal.
Yeah, Dead Maniac loves these projectiles and loves using them well, too. Knows when to use the grenades, knows when to use all of these different projectiles. It's making it so hard for Knight of the Dark to get in. We haven't seen Knight of the Dark get in very much at all, really, right now. He's been sitting at 92% for a while, and Knight of the Dark goes for an unsafe side B there. Unfortunately, SD is now Dead Maniac is the one up 3 stocks to 1.
Wow.
This is going to be... It's going to be hard to come back from.
This is crazy. Look, we said it. Listen, we said it before. In that last matchup, it could have just as easily been Knight of the Dark having an unfortunate SD, and now we see it, right? You know, that side B very easily could have connected, but Dead Maniac, great work getting out of the way. Oh, it will go. That Pyra is gonna sink, and it's 2-2. Wow.
That is a really unfortunate end to the game for Knight of the Dark there, and by all means, Dead Maniac played a great Me Gunner there, and I think getting that big of a game 4, is going to help him with his mindset going into this game 5. But for Knight of the Dark to lose 2 stocks to SDs, we actually saw that up B on his last stock did not reach the ledge, so that's going to be tough on the mindset. You know, 2 SDs is tougher than 1 SD on the mindset, and Dead Maniac came back from his, and I really hope that we see Knight of the Dark come back from his as well.
You know, I think we will, though. I think we will. You know, it is such a game of momentum. SSBU, we know that, right? We have seen the momentum shift now multiple times, and these are 2 of the top tier players in the league. Players who know how to adapt, right? I think if you are Dead Maniac, it's pedal to the metal, right? Don't stop. Go. Continue what you're doing. If you're Knight of the Dark, I think you take a little bit of that mental reset that we continue to talk about, right? And just say, hey, I'm now going up against this guy's main. So deep breath. And you saw a couple of times Knight of the Dark taking a moment on the stage to just stay and just let Dead Maniac throw some of those projectiles across. What are your thoughts as we move into game number 5? I mean, it's game number 5. It's 2-2, right? What do you think that we're going to see in this final matchup for all the marbles to take it to 5-1? What do you think we're going to see here, Quam?
I think we're going to see some explosive, no pun intended with the Me Gunner, of course, but some explosive, fast-paced matches from both of these players. Even though Dead Maniac is playing a slower character like Me Gunner, both of these players want this game 5, and both of these players have shown that they're capable of dealing damage when the time is needed. And they're both going to go into this game with their new refreshed mindsets thinking, okay, this game is mine, I know what to do, gonna go into it feeling as confident as possible, because nothing is more important in sets like these than a game 5 ultimately.
Who do you think has the advantage here?
I think Dead Maniac, coming off of a win that strong, especially with his main too, gonna be feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree. I tend to agree. I don't wanna cast or curse either of these players, obviously, but I have a hard time. I have a hard time going outright, and even with the momentum that Dead Maniac has, I have a hard time just calling it for him right now because of what we have seen out of Night of the Dark and this Pyramithra. The ability to adapt, the ability to make big combos and big connections happen when it's necessary, right? And it's almost like you can see the wheels turning. We saw it in that on that last stage. We talked about it a moment ago. Night of the Dark just stopping for a second and saying, "Okay, where can I more effectively attack this me gunner from?" Right? Right? And I don't think we're going to stop seeing that. I think that it's hard to say. I really think that game 5 is going to be it's going to be lights out between these two, because in this level of SSBU, you see how the players are figuring each other out. Quam, when you're playing a game that is this competitive, how stressed are you getting at this point, or are you feeling more and more calculated the further you go along?
Definitely not. I'm sweating. I'm sweating. Absolutely. If I'm sitting
Okay.
in a game 5 like this against
That's
a
why
good
I
player,
asked.
I'm
Uh,
sweating. I'm very nervous.
uh,
But I think that something you said rings very true. Night of the Dark standing still and just trying to figure it out, make the gears turn a little bit.
mhm.
And in a fast-paced game like Smash, I honestly think that's one of the best things that a player can do is just stand still, wait for your opponent to be done attacking, and then get ready to get back into the action as we see Night of the Dark switching onto a Cloud, a character that we've not seen from him before, and onto FD, a stage that definitely favors me Gunner.
Oof.
Really, really interesting character pick from Night of the Dark here.
Wow. Yeah, this is interesting. Oh man. I will be interested to see. This is not something I expected. Oh, an unfortunate SD. The recovery is not there. Oof. Wait a sec. Maybe are we dropping off the stage to? I'm confused by that. What happened right there?
So I'm pretty sure what happened is that Night of the Dark did SD there, but Dead Maniac, being the player that he is, gave him what's called a homie stock. He basically just SD'd himself so that the game was an even 2-2. And
There
that's
you go.
honestly the best way I'd love to see a Game 5 start. Both these players know this is an even set, respect the other player, and just want a really, really good Game 5 as we see Dead Maniac holding down the stage with these grenades. Night of the Dark almost getting a big punish with that limit charge side B. Both these players approaching kill percent.
Yeah, most certainly. What a nice and awesome move there out of Dead Maniac, who will lose another stock here to Night of the Dark. This Cloud looking to work for Night of the Dark. That big sword just a swinging. We see the blade beams have been working to range out this Dead Maniac. It's great, great stuff that we are seeing from Night of the Dark. Oh, man.
Yeah, and Night of the Dark is not rushing in either. Night of the Dark is so comfortable sitting in that corner, jumping, shielding, using those blade beams just to not get punished for it. And that's what you love to see from a really, really calm, calculated, smart, seasoned player like Night of the Dark. But Dead Maniac, of course, not relenting with these grenades either, knows that as long as he keeps the pressure on, he's gonna get this kill somehow, especially with these offstage grenades against a character like Cloud, who struggles with recovery. And this is an even stock game, Game 5 here.
Yeah, definitely. This me gunner just blasting away. We know, we keep saying how good Dead Maniac is with the projectiles, but we're seeing here too, Night of the Dark, again, those blade beams, that's a projectile move, and those are connecting here on this me gunner. The percentages climb for both players in and out. Ooh-wee, that's a big uppy for that Cloud connecting with our me gunner Dead Maniac at 92%. Night of the Dark nearly 70%, as me gunner will get inside on Night of the Dark, but the blade beam connects. That is big for Night of the Dark. The bombs coming in, the projectiles for Dead Maniac. This thing is all even up, one stock apiece, and everybody right around that 100%. Quam, this is crazy.
It's so hard to tell who has the upper hand here, but Night of the Dark laying down the F smash. Big Game 5 kill there for Night of the Dark, getting a really, really big win over Dead Maniac there, and such an impressive set all around. Unbelievable.
Wow. Here.
This is a lot of chaos right now. Both of these players, you can tell, are one hit away from dying just from the way they're playing. Knight of the Dark brilliantly stands there in the center of the stage, not relenting, not being too defensive, but knowing that Dead Maniac is going to go for an aggressive recovery back to center stage, just waits there, waits until he gets sent off stage by the back air, and hits him with the F smash to seal it out. Really, really
Wow.
good patience by Knight of the Dark there, and just an unbelievable way to start our night here.
Yeah, great stuff. And you saw it there. I mean, even when I got confused at the beginning of that stage 5 with Dead Maniac and the homie stock, obviously, right? I think we saw that because these two players know just how competitive they are at this point. They know where they stand. They know that they are two of the best players in the league right now. So they want to fight on even terms. You know what I mean? And technically speaking, if USD, that's part of the game, right? But it's interesting to see Dead Maniac make that move and say, no, I want to win on even terms and then to lose on even terms, right? GG's to both of these players. What a well fought battle. What did you think, Quam, of the battle as it progressed? The cloud switch there at the end, all of it. Kind of give me your take on what we saw there in game number 1.
You know, that cloud switch was kind of weird to me because I thought the Pyramithra was doing really well, but Night of the Dark must have just felt pretty bad about it and bad about that in that game 4 where he lost pretty dominantly against Dead Maniac there. And
Hmm.
luckily the Cloud working out for him, probably a character that he's played for a long time, right? Cloud's been out a lot longer than Pyramithra has, so he's probably been playing it for longer than Pyramithra. So don't want to count out any character switches at all. But overall, the dynamic in this set was just so interesting. It felt so
Hmm.
back and forth, even just
Yeah.
within games. It was crazy.
It did. You never really knew where the momentum was coming from or where it was going, to be completely honest. The number of character switches is very uncharacteristic of our league, right? I mean, sometimes we see character switches, but usually it's just back and forth between a couple of mains that we know that these players have. So to see Dead Maniac come out right away with the Byleth, right? I mean, Dead Maniac playing 3 different characters on the day and Night of the Dark playing 2. I'm interested in your thoughts. Does that cloud pick, do you see that as kind of taking the best of each world from Pyra and from Mithra and kind of just combining it all into one for Night of the Dark and what he was trying to do in that on that stage number 5 to take the set?
I think in some regards, yeah, that's right. Because we saw Night of the Dark using Cloud's good mobility, similar to Mithra, to get
Hmm.
in and deal damage. But then we also saw Pyra's ability to just stand and hold her ground in what he did on the side of the stage, which was dodge some of those grenades and just hold the ground down, and especially with that final kill, too. Standing center stage, going for the F smash when he can. So yeah, we definitely saw a mixture of his playstyle with both of those characters in a really, really creative way.
Yeah. I mean, and it was a ton of fun to watch. You could see exactly, again, the skill level of these players and just how much energy they were putting into figuring out their opponent. You could just see it on the stages. GG's to both of these players. The set goes to Knight of the Dark, who will go to 5-1 on the season so far. Dead Maniac at a very respectable and still extremely dangerous 4-2 on the season so far, folks. And the action does not stop there. We're going to take a brief break. And when we come back, we are going to have Socium taking on Law Fever in our second matchup of this triple header on MNVL's Thursday stream. Folks, don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly.